Dave Scott, Hub Media, back with my friend Randy Hummel for another Boomer Music Experience. Randy, it's great to see you. Hope everything's going well. And today we're going to talk about a great Canadian band, Blue Rodeo. I know you and I are both big fans. Listened to them, boy, since the 80s. And I can't wait to get into it because I got a good Blue Rodeo story for you, but I'm ready to learn. Fill me in on Blue Rodeo, Randy, will you?
Okay, very good, Dave. Blue Rodeo is a Canadian country rock band. They were formed in the year of 1984 in Toronto, Ontario. Now, they have released 16 full-length studio albums, 4 live recordings, 1 greatest hits album, or CD. Also, they've had multiple solo albums, side projects, and many collaborations. So let's begin then with the history of Blue Rodeo. High school friends Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler, and speaking of Jim Cuddy, I've seen him perform on a few occasions at the Blue Elephant. Now I'm going back in time. We're looking at the late 90s, early 2000s. Jim Cuddy, yes, and Greg Keeler, they began playing music professionally together after their university years. And they put together several bands with commercial success in the late 1970s. Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler, they moved to New York City in the early 1980s to further their music careers. And it was there that they met keyboardist and fellow Canadian Bob Wiseman. And Wiseman at the time, he was working in New York as a producer. Upon returning to Toronto in the summer of 1984, the trio decided to form a band, and hence they decided on Blue Rodeo. Now, they also met Dave Wilcox, who was an exceptional drummer, and Cleve Anderson, and they asked if they could join the group. And sure enough, hey, why not? Thus, we have the formation of the band Blue Rodeo. Now, on February the 7th of 1985, Blue Rodeo played their first show together at the Rivoli. Okay, now the Rivoli, that's downtown Toronto. You want to try and make a name for yourself at that time, that place, that was the place and location to do it. Now, the band quickly earned a following in Toronto very quickly, and was subsequently, they were signed to the Canadian independent record label, Risque Disque. Wow, what a name for a record label. Anyway, they entered the studio in 1986 with Rush producer Terry Brown, and they recorded several songs that would compromise the Blue Rodeo debut album. And their debut album, Dave has it right there, folks. Take a look at it. It's called Outskirts. There it is. Now, Blue Rodeo, Outskirts, was released in March of 1987. And the album, it met with modern success in Canada. And Until Try, which is one of the songs on the album, was released as a single in October of that year. And that single, Try, was an immediate hit. And it went right to the #1 in RPM country tracks and also to #6 in the RPM top singles chart, thus establishing Blue Rodeo as one of Canada's top new bands and carrying Outskirts, here again, their debut album, went quadruple platinum in sales. How good is that? Wow.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen very often. Your first album does that. That's incredible. Did you, couple quick questions.
Yeah.
With Blue Rodeo coming on and hearing Try, at first, I never really thought of them as a country band, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought more, I always took it more soft rock, but I guess I guess that's what they were sort of labeled as, eh?
Yeah, they're absolutely correct, Dave. Their music genres were kind of like a soft rock, um, alternative country in some parts,
Okay. Yeah.
but also folk rock,
Yeah.
roots rock, and a bit of Americana re Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Bob Dylan, yeah,
So,
the band. You're right. I never thought about it, but yeah, you're totally right there.
yeah,
Their
so
sound is, and that's sort of that. It became Blue Rodeo, and it's just off that first album, but it
mhm,
started to become such a Canadian sound, eh?
exactly.
Which was
Absolutely,
kind of
Dave.
cool. Yeah, that's I think what makes it so good. And
Yeah.
Try just blew up. I mean, it was
Oh,
playing
yeah.
everywhere.
It went right through the roof. And
What was your first?
great song.
What was your first thoughts when you heard Try or Blue Rodeo? When you heard that song, was it you're like, who are these guys?
Yeah. Like basically unknowns in Canada. And, but I liked the song. And in fact, I went out and I bought the album. I went out and I played, without a word of a lie of a doubt, I played Try 6 times, back to back, back to back, back to back.
Wow.
I said, this song is going to go. And, you know, and it did. Like,
It just blew up.
unbelievable. And I honestly believe, Dave, between Try and Lost Together, another great, great song by Blue Rodeo, those are my 2 favorite songs. And I think either one of those songs you could say would be their signature song. Would you agree with that, Dave?
I would, and I would probably throw After the Rain in there, just because it's such a cool song, and I think everybody's tried to record that song, and it's just one of their great songs. And the other part that I liked about Blue Rodeo early on, listening to that first album, was just the sharing of the lead vocals between Jim and Greg. I think that really helped the album. It gave it such a different sound when each one of them sang a song, or the other ones played the other one with background.
Oh,
it was
absolutely.
really unique. It was really unique. Like it wasn't, this is just our lead singer. It says these guys can do these many, all this different types of music together. And I thought that was really cool. And just the rating style too. I mean, Rose Colored Glasses, another great song. I could go on and on, but I always thought, it was a different album at that time, and one you had to have because it was that good coming out. And I know that, Casino, I think, was out next, or Diamond Mine, sorry, was out next. And it was just, the music just kept coming from 87 to 95. The albums were just unbelievable for me anyway.
That's right. Absolutely right, Dave. And speaking of the song that you just mentioned, After the Rain, that was written by Cuddy and Keeler. The year was 1992. And as you had mentioned earlier, too, After the Rain, one of the most performed songs in Canada. Now, by 1999, the band had sold more than 2 million albums in Canada.
That's perfect.
Cuddy, Keeler, Donovan, and Cripps, they've all released solo albums. And Glenn Mitchum, he's performed his own solo music under the pseudonym The Swallows. And he actually co-founded with his twin brother John the rock duo Starvin' Hungry, another good group. But here's an interesting note, and I want to share this again with our audience, Dave. Blue Rodeo members, all of the members of Blue Rodeo, they have collaborated exclusively with other notable Canadian artists, including, Sarah McLachlan, the Tragically Hip, Burton Cummings, Great Big Sea, Jan Arden, and just to mention a few. And also, they have won many Canadian Music Awards, including 12 Juno Awards and 7 SOCAN Awards. So that puts them right up there.
Hey, Randy, what do you attribute, and this is a little off topic, but they've been together since, like you said, 84. I mean, that's almost, it's coming up on 40 years.
Yeah.
But they always do their own thing, but they always come back together. There's a bond there, isn't there? Like that band just seems to be able to know how to survive and keep a good balance, especially Cuddy and Greg and Jim. So what is that? Do you think? Why is that?
Well, I think, and full marks to Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler. They were the driving force of Blue Rodeo. Okay, and that's not taking away anything from Brazil Donovan, Colin Cripps, Jimmy Boskill, Cleve Anderson, and our Canadian boy, Bob Wiseman. It was just the capitulation of two professional musicians in their own right, creating a massive comfort zone of other artists to come in and form Blue Rodeo. It was just, and this is a very unique experience for a very successful band. And I honestly, to this day, do believe, Dave, that Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler are the heartbeat and still are the heartbeat of Blue Rodeo.
I couldn't agree with you more. I do believe that myself. They're just quite the Canadian tandem when it comes to music writing and just bringing out that song, those songs that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share quickly with you, Randy, a little story about Blue Rodeo. When I was, boy, this is probably going back 30 years. I don't want to age myself here, but boy, I'm sure it was. Me and my wife drove to, I believe it was Kitchener, middle of a snowstorm. We had Blue Rodeo tickets,
mm-hmm.
and we're big fans, and we didn't want to miss the show. And the show was a go, so we drove there. And I just remember going in, and there was it was a big auditorium, maybe 50 people, maybe I don't even nowhere near 100, but there was at least 50, mm-hmm. and they did the whole show. And they brought everybody right to the front, and it was just like it was your private concert. And it didn't matter if there was, it didn't matter if there was thousands or hundreds or 50, they were still going to do their show. And I give them a lot of credit, because it would have been easy to walk away and say, we're not tonight, not enough people type thing. Mm-hmm. But they did the full show. And, I think I've seen them. You and I talked about this off air. I think my wife and I have seen them 7 or 8 times all over Brantford, Hagersville, Toronto, Kitchener, right? They're just a band that you always feel good when you see them. Their music brings out a part of you that you've maybe forgotten about. And I've always enjoyed that. Do you find the same thing with that band?
Absolutely, Dave. It's just really so enjoyable to watch them perform and knowing that they are Canada's best. And
that's a good point.
Hits right home, right in the heart.
And and just for the folks that know, they are on tour this summer and into the fall, I think till November. So check out their website, folks. And, if you get a chance to see Blue Rodeo, for sure, go do it. I'm sure they're playing all across the country. So I'm sure they'll be in every, always a way to get to see Blue Rodeo somewhere. I'm sure of that.
Absolutely, Dave. And on June 16th of 2009, it was announced that the band would receive a star on Canada's Walk of Fame in Toronto. Now, the induction ceremony was held on September the 12th, 2009, and they are the 5th band to receive this honor. Blue Rodeo was also inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, and this took place at the 41st Juno Awards, and that was on April the 1st of 2012. Now, they also are in a select group because other Canadian artists who have also received the Canadian Music Hall of Fame awards, there's Rush, there's Leonard Cohen, there's Neil Young, sorry, Neil Diamond, our own, the band, Oscar Peterson, Joni Mitchell, and Annie Murray, Tom Cochrane. Oh, and I mustn't forget Bruce Cockburn. Now, Bruce Cockburn, just a side note here, next weekend, he will be performing at the Burning Kiln Winery, and it's part of the Burning Kiln Winery presents Concerts in the Vineyard. And it's Bruce Cockburn, and he has a special guest appearance with Annabelle Kovstek. And this gal will knock your socks right off. I mean, she is a wonderful performer. Unbelievable. So for more information on that, where to get tickets, please check it out. It's burningkilnwinery.ca/concerts. Once again, that's burningkilnwinery.ca/concerts. Should be a good concert.
And Burning Kiln, don't forget to send me and Randy each a bottle of wine for that plug. No, and and Jim Cuddy played there last year as well.
Yes,
out at Burning Kiln, they've had a lot of great bands there. Yeah, great. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
It's good always to support the local endeavors as far as music goes, for sure.
Absolutely.
Blue Rodeo just seems to always tour too. You know that? Mm-hmm. Like it seems like every summer they're hitting the road, which is, after all these years, you'd think they'd want to slow her down, but they keep her going, especially coming out of the pandemic. I guess it was probably important for them to get back on the road and get out there and see their fan base.
Absolutely, Dave. Yep. And in May of 2014, this is a very important note. Blue Rodeo received the Governor General's Performing Arts Award. And what this is, Dave, for our audience, it is the Lifetime Achievement Award for a band or artist. This is the top award that any band or artist can ever receive. Once again, the Lifetime Artistic Achievement Award, Canada's highest honor in the performing arts.
Perfect. Yeah. Well deserved. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of those awards that, like you said, that with the commitment they've made to their music over the years, they deserve it.
Yep.
By far.
Absolutely. Now, Colin Cripps, he joined Blue Rodeo as a full member in 2013. And this was due to Greg Keeler's inability to play electric guitar live. He had a few hearing issues. But aside from that, just really a rock-solid band. In September of 2015, Blue Rodeo released some different songs, Stealing All My Dreams. That was a good hit for them. Here's something I never knew, Dave, about Blue Rodeo. The band is a member of the Canadian Charity Artists Against Racism. That I didn't know that. But hey, full marks to them, full marks.
Yeah.
Now, as you had alluded to earlier, Dave, the Blue Rodeo concerts, just a kind of a backdrop history of that. On August the 11th, 1988, the band played at the Erie County Fair in Hamburg, New York, which is that's a suburb of Buffalo.
I've heard this story. Yeah,
and
I've heard this story.
They were headliners after the high school Battle of the Bands competition. The disastrous gig was an inspiration for their 1990 hit entitled "What Am I Doing Here?" Anyway, oh dear.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had a few concerts like that.
No.
But you gotta, take something, get lemons, make lemonade.
That's right? Absolutely. And as part of Blue Rodeo's 20th anniversary celebrations, that was in 2004, the original five, Jim Cuddy, Greg Keeler, Brazil Donovan, Bob Wiseman, and Cleve Anderson, they did reunite for a live performance of 5 songs. And these songs you can get on DVD in Stereo Vision, Blue Rodeo. Cool. You can get that DVD in any of the record shops, CD shops. I'm dating myself when I say record shops, but hey, vinyl's on the way back big time.
It is.
On Canada Day in 2008, Blue Rodeo played on Parliament Hill. The band closed the show before the commencement of the fireworks and was joined on stage by several other artists to perform Lost Together. On November 28, 2009, the band performed a halftime show for the 97th Grey Cup, and the band also performed live concerts for the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. How good is that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about that.
And Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler, they performed at the annual Folk on the Rocks Music Festival. This would be in Yellowknife. and that was July 16th to the 18th, and that was 2010. So full marks. They really get around, to quote another song from the Beach Boys. On July the 1st, 2011, Blue Rodeo performed at Trafalgar Square as part of the Canada Day celebrations in London, England. How good is that?
Pretty cool.
Wow. Now, Blue Rodeo, they also performed at their induction into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame during the Juno Awards, and this was in 2012 at Scotia Place in the community of Canada near Ottawa. Excuse me. On Sunday, April. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, do you think they're? I mean, everything we're talking about is so Canadian. Like they did everything you can do in Canada. They've won every kind of award.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Did they have the commercial success? Do you think they had the commercial success they deserved in the U.S.? I mean, I know they did a ton of films, Postcards from the Edge,
Mm-hmm.
Meryl Streep, but do you think they ever achieved what their goal was going to be in the U.S.?
No. I honestly,
in your opinion,
honestly, I don't, Dave. They did very well here in Canada and other parts of the world, including the UK, with their songs. But somehow, with the US, I don't know. I don't know what the difficulty was there. But hey, taking nothing away from Blue Rodeo, best band Canada's ever had.
I agree with you. I mean, they're right up there with Rush. They're right up there. You know, they have that quality of musicianship. I want to say that it's just another level. That band is so tight, and I always thought, you know, wow, if these guys, you know, I suppose it's a little bit Tom Cochrane like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Life is a Highway broke Tom Cochrane in the U.S., but before that, such a Canadian icon.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely, Dave.
Kind of a regional area, but I think that one hit. But there's so many other songs that he's did that are in my opinion, so much better, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're much deeper. But and I think Blue Rodeo probably Try, I guess, would be, or Lost Together might have, you know, crossed over a little bit into the U.S. market. Maybe that's something we'll have to research a bit more. Mm-hmm. But I always thought that, you know, they were just that one step away, right?
Just
kind of like Triumph in the 70s.
Exactly.
Just one step away from exploding in the U.S.
That's
market.
right.
Maybe we're lucky they didn't, because we got all these great albums here.
That's right,
I mean?
Dave.
Like, you get Outskirts, Diamond Mine, Casino, Lost Together, 5 Days in July. You get all these albums that were just phenomenal success in this country.
Yep.
So, good. Yep. We got them.
And as I mentioned earlier, Blue Rodeo performed at their induction into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame during the Juno Awards, and that was 2012 at Scotia Bank Place, and that was in Canada. That's actually in Ottawa, and that was on Sunday, April 1st, 2012. They took to the stage with longtime friend and collaborator, you ready for this, Sarah McLachlan, and performed their 1992 hit single, Lost Together. How good is that? That's better than good. And
that is.
As the performance ended, the audience rose for a spirited standing ovation, recognizing Blue Rodeo as one of Canada's true musical treasures. Bingo. Wow. How good is that?
It's it. Yeah, and like you said, the collaboration, what I saw or read, and the many different artists that have stepped forward and wanted to play with Blue Rodeo, and they were pretty open with their music. I watched a CBC interview, I guess about 6 or 7 months ago, and just talking about sort of that sharing ideas with other bands, and
the collaboration
and with songs, like it's like, what an era to be around and have that music in.
Incredible. And I think too, Dave, this is the kind of the insight of all the great bands, collaboration.
I agree.
We all come together as a family. They collaborate with some of the greatest artists, both male, female, other bands. And this really sets the mark truly for a band that kind of rises above the cream type of thing. It's
Do you think overall we underappreciate them or I don't think we appreciate them enough personally.
I think
as a Canadian band, it's kind of that Canadian thing to do.
You got it. I think Blue Rodeo has been extremely underrated. They can compete with the best of them, the best of the bands right around the world.
Yeah.
And but they, as you say, they're continuing to tour. They've got a good sound, and they do represent Canada, the best of the best.
Maybe it's because they make it look easy.
Yeah.
Like they look like they're having fun still.
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, that's got to be half of it. I mean, if you're not having fun, why would
absolutely.
You do it? So maybe that's the part where we just like, oh yeah, it's Blue Road. They're into our fabric now of our country. We just expect them to always be
that's
there
right.
to bring out another hit.
You got it, Dave. You got her. Yeah. But quite a nice history of Blue Rodeo. And a great band to do the show on.
As a DJ, obviously, is there? I know you're going to say try, but what other songs do you get requests for? Like what do you see from Blue Rodeo that comes across the turntable?
Good point, Dave. Well, of course, try. Lost Together is a huge request from Blue Rodeo. After the Rain, I do get requests for After the Rain. It's another good one. But all of their songs are, they're good, solid songs. But Try, Lost Together, and After the Rain, I would say, are the three top most requested songs that I get by Blue Rodeo in any given dance or wedding.
Those slow dance ballads, Those slow dance ballads.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you and I I've shared with you that Blue Rodeo Lost Together was our wedding song. And it's just one of those, it just spoke to us at the time. And, we've been married almost 30 years. So they're just part of, that to me, that was kind of who we are and who we still are at that time. It was that song really resonated with both.
Exactly. And congratulations, Dave. Very nice.
Yeah, getting there.
That's great.
What do you got coming up? Are you busy with shows?
Actually, I've got a few luncheon dates. I better say that very carefully. Luncheon dates, and these are dates where it's specific groups, and they want to hear some background 50s, 60s music, and works great. Works out good. We've got a couple of weddings, fall weddings coming up. And once again, Dave, the phone is starting to ring again, and that is truly music to my ears.
Classy FM, folks. Randy Helmo, there he is. We're giving him the plug right now because you're looking for a DJ. Give him a shout. We always have fun with our shows, and you always, you bring that extra piece to it. You always educate me on these bands, and I appreciate that. Anything else for Blue Rodeo? I know you've got stuff to do today, and I can't keep you much longer. But
that pretty well completes the biography of Blue Rodeo. But they also, as Dave was saying, folks, they also are continuing to tour. So check your locations, the times, the dates they're touring, and you'll be really, really pleasantly surprised and enjoying a Blue Rodeo concert. And both Dave and I
think you'll be surprised.
Both Dave and I can certainly attest to that, being in the concert halls where Blue Rodeo has performed. Truly an amazing experience of music.
And I think people are always amazed at how many songs they know of Blue Rodeo.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you go to a show, you're like, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know.
That's right.
And that's the fun of it too. It's the Canadian kitchen party you got to attend. Right. That's what I think that's the way to do it. Some great Canadian bands, and usually the opening act for Blue Rodeo is awesome too. So go see them, support your local Canadian bands. That's for sure. Randy, I got to let you go. Thanks for doing this today.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Please stay out of trouble, will you, young man, and enjoy your live DJ shows.
Well, we'll try.
All right. Until next month, this is Dave Scott Burmer Music Experience with my co-host Randy Hummel. Folks, have a great day. Have a great week. Enjoy the summer, and we'll talk soon.